The kids say I glaze him a little too much. They comment that why don't I just marry him at this point? But the truth of the matter is we are witnessing greatness every single day. And Shohei Ohtani has a real chance to go 50-50. Right now, he's on pace for 52 bombs, 54 stolen bases. The way you look at it, could be an 80% chance of a 50-50 season. Does he get it, or does he go, dare I say, 50-60?
Somebody recently explained to me what it means to glaze someone. And, I've got a lot of gray in this beard, and I earned that. But luckily, I do have children, so they taught me. And now that I know what that means, it is impossible to glaze this dude too much.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani is ridiculous, amazing. Everything about him, he's just different. And in a very, very good way. Yes, he's going to get 50-50. I ran the numbers yesterday. He's got 24 games left, and he's played 135 games this year, which means he's had 112 24 game stretches, games 1 through 24, games 2 through 25, et cetera, et cetera. You look at each of those 24 game stretches, 100 of those 112, he's had at least 6 home runs. And in over 100 of them, he's had at least 4 stolen bases that he needs. There's almost no way in the world for me that barring injury, I have to say that, and I hate that I have to say that. But barring injury, there's no way he's not going to get to 50-50. 50-60 is a possibility. He's had a few 24 game stretches where he's had at least 13 stolen bases. I think his max is 15. So, for me, what I want is for Elly De La Cruz to stop stealing bases. I would like Shohei Ohtani to end up leading the league in both home runs and stolen bases. That's my goal for him. It's not realistic, and I'm definitely not going to wish an injury on Elly to make that happen. But I think that would be awesome. But a 50-60 season, I think if Shohei hasn't, it's a lot easier to have a 3 stolen base game than a 3 home run game. We saw that last night.
Yep.
And
come in bunches.
If Shohei, if he decides, hey, 50-60 sounds cool, I want to get 60 stolen bases, I feel like it's just a matter of him getting on base enough, and he takes his walks. He gets enough singles. Obviously, we've seen he can steal third base. He's sometimes, in some ways, more comfortable stealing third than stealing second. And so I don't think 60 stolen bases is out of the question. My best guess is 54 home runs and 58 stolen bases. That's my guess on his final numbers.
I like that. That we would take that. But the wild thing about this, he had 0 stolen bases in March. 0 stolen bases in March, and he had 4 stolen bases in April. I mean, if he was at this pace for the entire season, there's a world where he could steal 100+ bases. In the last 34 games, if you have that pace, he's on pace to steal 61.5 bases for the last 34 games. If he was on that pace for the entire season, he's on pace to steal 105. Now, of course, I try to look at things sometimes as, okay, everyone has the same take. Where can we go a different direction from this? Any concern about maybe it being late in the season? You mentioned the Marlins, the Rockies, teams where you can get those home runs in bunches. Any concern that falls into a tiny slump, you're getting close to the 50 bombs, and you're kind of pressing down the stretch, that kind of impacts his swing heading into the postseason?
I think there are those concerns, and we've seen Shohei a couple times this year where it seems like maybe he's pressing. Remember how long those 7 or 8 games at the beginning of the season felt like when he hadn't homered yet?
Yeah.
And people are like, what's wrong with Shohei? And you look back, it's like, it was 7 games, people. But, it felt like forever. And I think that was wearing on him a little bit. And then it got to be, he's about to pass Hideki Matsui, and he slowed down a little bit. There's when he's hitting these milestones, maybe the fact that he's also chasing the stolen bases helps him with that, because he realizes, getting on first base is just as important to this goal as hitting a home run. And so I don't need to chase. You could see last night in his last at bat, he was absolutely looking for a home run. And he's like, okay, we've won this game. This is a chance for me to pad the home run stat. He was swinging for the fences, but that's generally not him. He swings hard. He's going to hit the ball hard no matter what. But I think the fact that what he's chasing also needs him to get on first base sometimes will help him stay within himself a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving to leadoff, it only helped that. Now, if you look at his numbers this year compared to last year, I mean, the batting average, 304 last year, this year, 292. The slug last year, 654. This year, 16. The OBP, 412 to 377. Weighted runs created plus 179 to 169. What do you make of that? I mean, I think we're seeing, as far as the versatility, how dynamic he is on the base pass, peak-ish Ohtani. But I think that a lot of Dodger fans might not realize this, but last year's version of Shohei on the Angels actually was a better offensive player overall.
Yeah, and that's, we're talking about the difference between
it's like being the poorest billionaire.
Super great with a capital S, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
It's who's richer, Elon Musk or
Jeff Bezos? Yeah,
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
I knew there was another rich guy.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I think that there has been a lot of pressure on Shohei this season. You look at the off the field stuff that he had to deal with early in the season. You look at the fact that he's playing for a good team for the first time in his career. I think that, you look at all the injuries that guys have had, him having to move to leadoff. This lineup, they were trotting out Nick Ahmed and Kevin Biggio. There was a lot of pressure
Great point.
on Shohei Ohtani to be the man. And so in some ways, and people make this argument a lot when it's, when a guy on a bad team wins the MVP. It's like, well, but he didn't have to play in the pressure of a pennant situation. And I don't care much for that argument, but I do think there is some truth to it when you look at, I think it's a lot easier to hit well in a game that doesn't matter than it is to hit well in games where every game matters. And the Dodgers are, even 2 years ago, the Dodgers, I think Shohei would have had less pressure because, we won 111 games. We won the division by 22 games. It was just easy breezy. Just as little pressure on the Dodgers that year as the Angels most years, just for the opposite reason. But playing for this situation, and remember, he's recovering from a serious
illness. Yes.
The fact that he's done anything this year recovering from this injury is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, you beat me to it. That absolutely is a factor. But for me, I don't see it as a negative. I look at it as, as good as he's been, as historic as this season is going to end up being, this is someone that could legitimately slash 300, 400, and 600 and steal 60 bases. So, hey, I want to put a little pressure on Shohei. We want more and more and more. We are greedy. We want more. And look, not bad for a guy that's making $2 million a year. You have to admit. I mean...